Welcome to the On Stage podcast, where we deep dive into the power of music and entertainment.
Well, so pleasant to be here, everyone. Today we have the incredible honor of speaking with Lisa Marie Nicole. She's a multi-award winning Christian recording artist and songwriter whose music has touched countless lives. With career marked by powerful lyrics and soul-stirring melodies, Lisa Marie Nicole has become a beacon of faith and inspiration in the Christian music ministry. Her latest single, Grace Healed My Soul, continues to resonate deeply with listeners, showcasing her unwavering dedication to spreading messages of hope and love. Join us as we delve into the journey, challenges, and triumphs of this remarkable artist and discover the heart behind the music that has won numerous accolades and a devoted following. I'd like to ask you, can you let us know whatever got you into music?
Well, I've been singing since I was young in church. I sang in the choir, and I've been writing since I was 7 years old. So I always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to get involved in music somehow. I just didn't see me at an older age getting into what I'm doing now. But when I moved from New Jersey to Florida, I joined the church by my house and I started singing in the contemporary service there. We had a band and I was the lead singer in the band. So I sang all the contemporary music. And after the after the service ended, I just had a calling to start writing music. And I live with chronic pain a lot. So I wanted to try to write songs that resonate with people that suffer in this world from anything. And that's where God comes in. And that's where I was blessed with that ability to be able to do that. And I started music. I started professional music back in 2016. That's when I started recording songs professionally and writing professionally.
Yeah, because I heard you that song Stained Glass Window of My Soul, which has very interesting lyrics. I want to ask you what your song process is in stitching that together. So you got the lyrics, these are things in life that make one guess why this world is such a mess. The definition of love is a mirror of hate. When I look in your eyes, I think all is great. I'm staring in the stained glass windows of your soul. Oh my goodness gracious. So how did you put that one together?
I have no idea. When I write, a lot of my lyrics come to me, and I am a very, very creative person. I always have been. And God speaks to me a lot. That's how I get a lot of my lyrics. I just pray on it and I ask for things to put out there in this world where people need to hear. And actually, my husband and I were actually discussing the stained glass windows and what a stained glass window is in the church. And we were talking about, and then I picked it up from there. A lot of times he'll throw things at me from like just a word or something and say, "Here, what do you think about this?" And then I just run with it and I come up with lyrics. And that just came to me. And I was like, you're looking at somebody and you're looking through them and you really don't know who they really are. What they portray to be to the world is not who they really are inside. So that's every soul is stained with sin, and everybody's soul is stained. And the only way that we can get rid of that stain is to be with the Lord and to follow him and to do what he says. And that's where I came up with that from, because that is like I said, people look at you when they don't know you really, but everybody's soul is tainted. So that's where I came up with that song.
Well, I understand that because the rest of the lyrics go, you're looking in, I'm looking out of the stained glass windows of my soul. I'm reaching out the world's reaching in, but the light of the Lord is blocking all the sin. Now, that's wonderful. Like, you're such a poet and you don't even know it. Haha.
I am a poet.
And
I'm a published poet.
yeah, and there are, like, you're talking about, you don't know really what the person is like. They may say, I'm a Christian. Say, okay, great. But I've met people say, I'm a Christian, and then they're doing other things, but then we have no right to judge them because we might do something worse than they do.
Mhm.
So we have to assume that, okay, that they believe in Christ, but we're only concerned with our relationship with God. And then that's where you come in, where you have your faith in the Lord, who provides you all these wonderful songs and lyrics, and you put them uh, into like beautiful melodies and lyrics. I've talked to some artists, and they said that they get their lyrics and their songs through experience. Now, you already mentioned stained glass windows of a soul is actually an experience that you had, basically. Rockin' for God. That was nominated for 2024 Podcast of the Year awards, which is podcast.
Rockin' for God is my
I
podcast.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a sec. Can you tell me what was going through your mind when you wrote the song Life's a Song of Faith and Glory? What experience did you have with that one?
Well, I can't say to that because Cindy Lou and I wrote that together, and she wrote most of the song. I collaborated with them on that. I just put in a couple of extra things and I gave my own spin on it. But she wrote that most of the song. That's the new one that was just released. So we collaborated on that, but it's basically about, we both discussed it. It's basically about trials and tribulations in this life and how we have to know and lean on God for everything that happens in this lifetime that we go through. We know that He is there to help us get through all of the trials and tribulations in our life.
I totally agree. I love that album of yours, You Are the Love, which was released last year. And you have another album that's
Thank
being
you.
released in 2022. I'd like to talk about that one. But when you started to write that first album, did you have a plan? Like, what was your defining moment, or what was your reason for even writing an album? Why not just come out with one single after another?
Which one? Anyone in particular, or
Yeah, let's
I
the
have five?
yeah, real You Are the Love. I'll talk
All
about
right,
that.
that's my EP. That was the one I just released this year. That was Windows of My Soul is the name of that one. That's the EP. Yeah, what I did was I wanted to release an EP because I was tired of putting out singles here and there. So I figured, by the time I get into the studio to do another song, or by the time when I write one, let me put an EP out because I never did. And there's 4 songs on that. It's been nominated for, I just won an award a couple of days ago. I won
Nice.
Best Album, 2 of them actually, Album of the Year. I'm waiting to get the trophies now for that. And those 4 songs all mean something different on that album, and they all mean something to me. They're all a different. One is to a country, to a rock, and yeah, You Are the Love has won so many awards, and the video and the song for that song have actually won the Post Productions Best Song of the Year last year. That was Best Song of the Year, and it was my number 1 song of the year on all streaming sites. You Are the Love. So that's why I did that, because I wanted to put those 4 songs, which are 4 of my best songs. I wanted to put that on an album. And I'm glad I did that because now I can enter that too as an album. You know what I mean? Instead of singles, I can enter those 4 songs as an album. And I'm really proud about those songs that I did.
But it's not about you. It's about God. It's about Jesus Christ, a relationship with Him. They're not your awards. They're His awards. And He could take all
Oh,
this away from you.
I know that. I always say that. I always say that these awards are all for him. In fact, an interview I just did recently, actually it was last year. I said, all of these awards behind me are all his. I accept them in his honor, but they're
Wow.
his. And I don't take credit for nothing. I can't do this. I would not be able to do this without the strength of God in my life and without the talent that he blessed me with to do this. I would have never done this. He chose me to do this. So that's why I try to stick with what I'm doing and to really try to bring the world to him and show him my testimony of what he's done in my life.
When you were discussing when you first started getting into music and doing it professionally, what was your mindset like? Did you have any trepidation where you just said, "I'm not going to go forward"?
Oh yeah, of course, especially with living in pain all the time. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I just prayed a lot for God to be there for me to help me do this because I knew I was chosen for this. I know I was. And people might not believe me, people might not understand it, but it's like a calling. Like if you want to be in a ministry, you want to be a priest or whatever, something in, like if you have a calling to do something in life, that's what I feel this was for me. And I didn't want to do it at first. I didn't know if I could do it because I didn't realize how blessed I was. And I didn't realize how talented I was until I just basically opened up my heart and my soul to him and said, just do what you want with me. And that's how everything just started coming to me. It was incredible. All these songs that I wrote in this short amount of time was just a blessing. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Look, that wall, amazing.
Thank
Praise,
you.
praise God. Your latest Grace Healed My Soul, which is being released in a few days, I believe.
That's my album.
Yeah,
My album. Yeah.
that that'll continue to inspire and uplift listeners with powerful message of faith and healing. Can you give me a little bit of idea where the title came from and what sort of experience that you're like the beginning of that album? I'm going to write a new album. I'm going to call it Grace Healed My Soul. Why? What was going through your life at that point that's the name of the album?
When I wrote Grace Heal My Soul, that was actually the first song I wrote, believe it or not. That was the first song I wrote. And I it just came to me where I felt yeah, my soul was suffering in sin and suffering like everybody else does in the world. And I knew that by the grace of God, I was healed, I was saved. And if you listen to the lyrics of that song, that's exactly what it's about. And I wrote that 5 different ways. I didn't know how I was going to put that out. I played it as a country song. I did it as a ballad. It was a rock. Finally, when I got into the studio, me and a musician, Mike, my friend I work with, we put this one together. And it's more like pop, I think. I don't even know what it is, to tell you the truth. I think it's more like a pop rock song or something. I don't even know what genre that would be in, but it's we came up with that one, and that's how I came up with the title, and I figured that would be the lead song on the album for that one. But all of those songs on that album, if you listen to the album,
Okay.
all the songs of that album, I'll say it again later, but all the songs off that album are about pain and suffering, almost all of them. And there's a couple of them on there that really, really hit home, and they mean a lot to me because I was going through a lot when I wrote them. And people have told me that those songs have helped get them through like cancer or sickness or hard times in their life. And I just feel like, you know what? I did my job. I did my job. That's what I was supposed to do, and I did it.
But you want people to get through whatever they're going through in cancer or depression, whatever, or death of a loved one. You don't intend, like, you want them to take that away, right? You don't want them to share in your pain. You want them just to make it a little bit more easy.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't expect them to do that. But I want the lyrics and to know that God is there to help them get through this like he did with me. And that's why those songs, like maybe they're going through a hard time and they listen to this song and the lyrics and say, you know what, I feel like that. And maybe I do need to pray more, or maybe I do need to follow Jesus if I don't know who he is, or, whatever. That's why I put that out there, because I didn't have to do this. I could have kept all these songs to myself and just said, you know what, I wrote these, I'll play them in my house. I didn't have to release any of this music. And I had a calling and he told me to do this. So that's the reason why I did.
Yeah, it really speaks to me, a lot of those songs. Yeah, I was listening and I'm like, wow, this is very powerful. Uh, I know that you found solace and purpose in your music during a challenging period because you experienced a personal loss. So
Mhm.
that's why you turned to songwriting as a form of healing and expression. So in that period of introspection, creativity, even though it led to creation of some of your most heartfelt songs, and it deeply resonates within your audience, were there any negativity or anything that people have mentioned, say, I don't like this song, or uh, this, I don't want to hear, I don't even want to talk to you, whatever? Have you ever had that sort of reaction?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not saying this that I'm not saying this, put myself on a pedestal, nothing, but I've never really had anybody say anything bad about my music. The only song that I had an issue with was Get Behind Me, Satan, because it was about the great apostasy.
Whoa.
and it was and it was about the falling away of the church and everything. And yeah, I had a couple of people on YouTube that said some nasty comments, but YouTube removed it. I just said, you know what I said to the people? I'll pray for you, because apparently you need it if you're going after me for this song, for the lyrics. But
Wow.
it's a really good song if you heard it. And it's basically, that's what it's about. It's about the falling away of the church, and that's exactly what's happening today. So, and I put that out there now as much as I can, because I think people need to hear it now more than ever. But I haven't really had, I mean, yeah, I've had some like artists say to me, I sing in minors a lot. A lot of people would say, try to sing in a different key if you can, or try to do background music and stuff like I mean, I said, you know what? Yeah, well, some people don't insult me. Some people give me constructive criticism, which I do look for, because it helps me. I'm not, unless you yell at me and say, I can't stand that song, it's terrible, you sing horrible, or, that's different. But people will say to me, why don't you try to do this? I listen to everybody, because there's some people that have been in the business a lot longer than me, and they have good advice. But you got to watch too, because you do have some people that are jealous and they're not looking out for your well-being. So, I believe me, I've been there too. So, but I just try my best to take, advice from people, but I haven't really had anybody say anything bad about my music, really bad, where I would want to quit. So it's a good thing, I guess.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, you want people to give you constructive criticism, not destructive criticism.
Yes.
And there's a lot of out there thinking, well, how come God blessed you with music and the ability to sing and play the guitar, but God hasn't done anything for me? He said, yes, he has. He's done what you're good at, what you do. God only gives people certain gifts, and you just have to use it, right?
Yep, exactly. We're all blessed with gifts. I always say that. Every one of us in this world is blessed with something if you use it to glorify God. That's what I always say. Use your gifts to glorify God.
Yeah. Wow, Lisa. I was reading a quote that you said, reflecting on your musical journey. You said, quote, I was born to write. The Lord took it further and used me for his purpose to create beautiful music to share with the world, bring souls closer to him through the music I was blessed with. Do you believe your music has brought souls closer to him?
I think so. I have had people tell me that. I've had people from all over the world tell me that. People on Messenger, all over the place. They will contact me and say one of my songs really touched them, or they heard the lyrics to something. So if people didn't tell me that it did, I would wonder. But I really think that God wouldn't have brought me this far if He wasn't going to let my music get out there to reach people to come to Him, because I'm just a vessel doing that. We all are. So I really believe that I have touched a lot of people with my music, and that's what gives me the inspiration to keep going and to keep writing every day.
How do you balance your faith and music and deal with your mental health at the same time?
Uh, it's it gets a lot easier because I use my writing as an out. I mean, like when I am having issues and I am in a lot of pain, or I am, with the anxiety, and which so many people in this world have. So I know so many people relate to a lot of my music because of that. Um, but I really, what I do is when I'm having a bad day or something, I pick up the guitar and I just let God speak to me. And that's how I write my best music. I think a lot of artists do. A lot of people write when their best music when they're suffering from something. And I just have two more songs that I just wrote in the past couple of days that I'm trying to put together, that are one's a beautiful worship song, and another one is sort of like a folk type of rock song. But um, yeah, that's basically what I do. I write, I play the guitar. Sometimes I just sing other music, like sing some old 80s rock or something just to get me through it. But I get through it.
I understand, yeah. Do you have a certain message that you want to hope to convey through your music?
Yeah, basically my message is that I I'm not just speaking to people that are suffering in this world. I'm speaking to the lost. I'm speaking to the people that feel like they have no hope, and they feel like this world we're living in today, there is no hope, but there is, because God is there. God always was there, and God always will be there. And people have to know that I am a testimony to what He's done and what He can do. And that's what my songs, Grace Heal My Soul, is that what He's done for me, He will do for you. You just have to listen to Him. You have to follow Him. You have to believe in Him first, and and just let Him come into your life and take over your life like He did with me. And then things will get better. And yeah, things aren't going to get better, like my other song says, in my time, child. We want everything yesterday, and it's not going to work like that. Whenever God says it's time, it's time. And it might not ever be in this time. It might be when we're not here anymore. But you know what? I'm fine with that, because I actually feel like right now at my age and this time in my life that I think I have done almost everything I've wanted to do in my life. And I don't know how many people could say that. So that's actually a blessing to be able to. I have a book I just wrote, my first book ever, that I'm going to be releasing in November. And I've waited since I was 7 years old to release my first book. And this is actually going to be happening now. So,
Wow. You
I
let
don't
me
know
know
what.
when it's published so I can get a copy.
Yes, it's a Christmas story. It's a short story. It's called The Christmas Stranger, and it was written around Christmas years ago. And I never did anything with it. And I said, you know what? God is just throwing so many things at me right now, and I think He wants to see how much I can handle. My favorite scripture is Philippians 4:13, so I live by that. I can't do anything without His strength. So it's going to be released hopefully in November. It'll be an ebook, but I'm also going to have, we're trying to get some copies made out of softcover copies, but it will be on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all the places. And I'm going to post the links my website to get directly to it, and I'm also going to put it on all my social media pages as soon as it's released, because I'm really excited about this. And being an author now on top of everything else is just unbelievable.
I can understand that. So exciting. What are your thoughts on eternity? For instance, you said you think you've done everything you need to do. So could you pass away right now without having any regrets?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, there's still some things in life I would like to have done, like take trips. There's places I haven't been to that I would love to go. Um, I really, we don't know, where we're going to be as far as living situation. We might want to go into another state or something. We don't know. But um, my husband and I have been married 32 years,
Wow.
and we have
Congratulations.
thank you. We have done so much together as a couple, like between moving to different states and like being able to take trips to different places with an RV. And we have tried to make the best out of what we have in life. And and he has been my biggest support with my music. So I take care of my mom, who has heart disease, and she lives with me, and I take care of her, but I make sure that she has everything she needs in life, and she is one of my biggest supporters besides my husband. So yeah, I would like to write a novel. I want to finish my other book that I'm working on. I really want to do that because it's something I've been working on for many years. Not the one that's coming out now, another one. And I really would like to perform somewhere really big. I would like to get like a gig, like on a big stage somewhere, like in Madison Square Garden or somewhere like a huge venue. And that's what I want to do with my music. That's what I look forward to with my music, which I think could happen one day. But as far as everything else in my life, I I think I've lived a lot. I mean, I'm not saying I want to die tomorrow, so don't, I'm not saying that. But whatever his will is in my life, that's what's going to happen.
That's why I know that Psalm 139 is my favorite because it talks about how our days are numbered and God knows when we leave. But I remember another musician, actress, she actually told me you never know what tomorrow will bring. You don't know if you're going to be here tonight. You don't know if you're going to be here an hour from now. That's why you live every moment like it was your last, right?
That's right.
And that's how I want to live my life. Not worry about tomorrow because tomorrow is the evil thereof, right? We all know the scriptures. Uh, I'd like to ask you, how has winning multiple awards impacted your personal life and your music?
How has it impacted my personal life?
Yeah. Like how all those awards behind you, how is it? Does it keep you humble?
Humble? Oh yeah, it keeps me humble because those don't mean anything to me. I mean, they meant something to me when I won them, and when I look at them, like my mother is more excited about them than I am. She comes in here and stands there and goes, "I can't believe you won all these things. Can you tell me when you won one? Which one? When did you win this?" And I don't remember half of them when I won them, because a lot of them I just entered contests and I won. But I I don't let any of this interfere with what is really going on. I mean, this, like I said, of course, there's people that didn't win these things, and I did. And believe me, I'm blessed by that. And I always thank God. Every time I win something, I say, "This is for you. Thank God, this is for you." But I don't let that interfere with my life. I'm not like, I don't walk around saying I won all these awards and you didn't, or you know, people think like when I do my shows, I have all these behind me. Where am I going to put them? I mean, I want to show them because nobody comes in my house and sees this stuff. So I want people to be able to see I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, what I did, but I don't let them control my life and take over my life and make me think I'm better than anybody, because there's people that have more awards than this, believe me. There's people that have won awards that I wanted to win that I thought I was going to and I didn't. But that doesn't matter to me. Like even the ones I just won with the Songwriter Awards. The Songwriter Awards mean a lot to me because I'm a writer. And when I win anything to do with writing, that means a lot to me because it shows me that all of these years that I have done the writing and I've put into that, it's all paying off now. And that's a blessing. But this will never interfere with my life. It actually makes me more humble knowing that God is doing this for me and taking care of me.
That's excellent. I love your attitude. What sort of challenges have you faced in the music industry, and how have you overcome them?
Well, being a Christian artist is very hard in this world because I just did an interview where I was talking about this because um, a lot of people in this world do not want to label themselves as a Christian artist. A lot of people will say, I'm a rock artist, I'm a pop artist, I'm a country artist, and they'll throw a couple Christian songs in there, enter Christian things, and they'll win. And then I'm a Christian artist and I put myself out there all the time. Everybody knows I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to put myself out there as a Christian artist and say that I love Jesus and I do everything for him. He takes care of me. These people didn't die for me and will not give me salvation. So I don't care, about that. But yeah, I do get turned down for some gigs because people want me to do mainstream music. And I do some. Like I do some Pat Benatar songs. I do like when I do things, I do Pat Benatar. I do Lauren Daigle. Well, that's not mainstream. She's Christian. But I do other types of music, like the one I did with I Don't Know How to Love Him. The one I did with Jesus Christ Superstar. That was a Broadway song. And that was my best song one of my best songs I did outside of my own music. And, but I really, that living in pain, having problems with that sometimes where I feel like I have to take breaks here and there because of that. That doesn't mean I can't perform because I can. I just have to pace myself. So those are challenges that I have doing this type of stuff. But it's great being able to do this out of home because I can do a lot of my shows online. Everybody knows I'm the virtual queen, and I'm always doing concerts or something. I'm always live or something. Everybody knows that. But thank God for this. We wouldn't be able to do this right now, right?
Well, you're so passionate and just it's just amazing how passionate you are with your music. How do you stay motivated and inspired to create new music?
I don't want to be like everybody else. I always say that. I'm me. God created me. I'm different. I want to be different. That's what people like about me because my style is different. I'm not like everybody else. Everybody is different in their own way. So I try to always up my game, I guess. Like I try to always be a better version of myself. That's what I want to be. And I do that all the time when I'm writing and when I'm concentrating on writing. And it's amazing when I just open up my mind and I just sit there in front of a computer, how this stuff just comes to me. It's incredible. I mean, I could write like a whole novel in a day if I wanted to. I'm serious. But I can't because my hands will kill me. I'm cramping up. I can't sit there in front of a computer for 9 hours, but I do that. And that's how I stay motivated to keep going. Plus things in the world that are going on. Some people, I said, people send me messages and say, did you ever think about writing a song about this? Did you ever think about writing a song about that? Can you do a cover of this song? Because I think your voice would sound great with this.
Oh, wow.
I do this all the time. I guess people send me messages constantly because they know I'll do it. Then on the Christian side of that, I have people from churches that want me to do music in church. So I got both things I'm doing. I'm a cantor. I'm a singer at my church. I'm Catholic. So I'm a cantor at my church. I lead the choir. And then I come home and I do my music, which is contemporary. So I have to basically shut all that off when I go to church because it's more solemn and more, more liturgical type of music. And then I come home and I do this and I start writing my music, which is contemporary, more rock, you know, around those lines. But I'm always motivated to do something. I always have something in my head that I want to do, and I still can't believe that I'm having a book published. That is like, you have no idea how big that is to me.
Wow.
Because, like I said, since I was born, I felt like this is what God wanted me to do with my life. And this is what I'm doing. So I am more proud about this book than anything else I've done right now, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's huge. I know because I'm a singer and vocalist, and in all my years, which is like, oh, I don't know, 14, 16 years, whatever, I haven't written one song because I don't know the process of songwriting. That's why I always ask that question. And every musician gives me a different answer. Some say, oh, I find my songs that just walk out there and I see a cloud and I write a song about clouds or whatever, stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
and you always say, what's the experience behind the song like Wreck by Imagine Dragons about his sister-in-law? But I noticed that, like, okay, I don't know what you think of this. What do you think of cover songs? But here, okay, so Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, I think it was his 75th birthday. This is years ago. So what they did is that Jimmy Page and I think one of the others from Led Zeppelin were watching a choir sing Stairway to Heaven. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you never heard that song before and you know what it's all about, it was beautiful. What do you think about taking a regular secular song and putting Christian lyrics to it? What do you think of that?
I thought about doing that a couple of times. I don't know what song I would do if I did that, because there's so many good songs out there that are secular that I listened to when I was growing up. I mean, I was a metalhead at one time, before I found Jesus. I mean, I was into everything, all kinds of rock music, and there's so many different songs that you can do, that you can change into like that. You would have to license for it to do it, get the copyright, all that stuff. But I never thought about doing, because you know why? Because I'm always writing. I always got something in my head. And like you said, that some people look outside, they see a cloud. I could be driving in my car and something will just come to me out of nowhere, and like, you have to write a song about this, or I will, lyrics will come to me first. Some people, sometimes, I mean, not lyrics, melodies for a song will come to me first. And a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people will get the lyrics first, but I have melodies in my head and I'm like, I got to put something to that. And then all of a sudden the words start coming. So like what I said, I don't know if I would ever have time to really do something like that. I mean, I've been collaborating with different artists. People have approached me about collaborating with them, but I got so much going on between my podcast and everything else that, and then they have other music they want to come out. So there's a couple of artists right now that I'm going to work with, but I'm working on a song right now where I actually, in the middle of the song, I sing the Our Father.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Right in the middle of the song. I was thinking about even rapping it.
Oh wow, that would be pretty difficult to do.
I wanted this song to be completely different. This is going to be really, if this comes out the way I want it to, it's probably going to be a hit song because I told you, I'm always looking to change things up. I don't want to keep doing the same thing. I'm looking to change things. And, not that I don't want to collaborate with other artists. So if anybody's watching this, don't think that I don't want to, but I feel more comfortable when I write my own music, because like what I did with the last one, I didn't write all of that. So I can't talk to what it felt like to write it if I didn't write it. I know what I felt like when I sang it, and I know I felt the emotion and what she did when she wrote it. But when I write my own music, I know where that came from. and I know how I felt when I wrote it. And I feel like I'm blessed to be a songwriter. So this is why I try to stick to my own music and write my own music. And I will collaborate with other artists if they want to write like half a song with me. Like you want to do one chorus, I'll do one verse, you could do a verse, something like that. But to have somebody write a whole entire song is really hard for me because I feel like um, I'm singing somebody else's song and I don't feel like the connection to it. That's the word I'm trying to
Good answer. Wow, you're the only one.
I don't know if anybody else feels that way. I never talk to anybody about that. But like, because a lot of artists will be blessed if somebody says, "Hey, I love your voice. I want you to sing on this track for me." And I've done it several times already. But I that's the word I just used. It was like if somebody throws a song at me that they wrote and they wrote it for a certain time in their life, and then they say, "I want you to sing this." Um, how do you have that connection with the song that you didn't write and you don't know what the person felt like when they wrote it? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know?
that's why I've tried to connect with Dan Reynolds' song "Wrecked," which is basically written because of I mentioned the death of a sister-in-law. The way he felt it, I tried to sing it. I don't connect with it. That's why I stopped singing it. So I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Well, the song I wrote about my mom, I Love You, that song was a poem because I'm a published poet. I have a whole book of poetry. In fact, I'm going to have that next book is going to be a book of poetry I'm releasing. It's going to be all my poems. So I wrote a poem for my mom years ago. And when she was diagnosed with heart disease and she started getting sick, I said to my husband, you know what? I want to make this into a song and I want to release it. And I want her to be able to enjoy it and listen to it while she's still on this earth. So I said, I will to all mothers out there, to everybody that's a mom or can relate to this or can give it to their mom, can say, this is a dedication to you. And when I first released that song, so many people related to it. Their mother passed away or they were sick or, something where they loved their mom so much. And it did so well when it was first released and it still is. So that's the songs that you really connect with is the ones you write about somebody, like you said.
Well, how about the relationship you had with your father? How was that?
Well, me and my father were a lot alike. And when you're a lot alike, you don't get along too much. You're always fighting. But I loved my dad. I mean, he was just a stubborn Italian, like, where we grew up in the city. But you know what? He wound up with diabetes. And when we moved to Florida, he wound up getting end-stage renal failure. And that's what he died from. So
Sorry to hear
I Thank you. I wrote this song, Do You Hear Me, Daddy? That was never recorded. And one day I will go in the studio and record that. But I sing that song at a lot of my shows, and I do it on Father's Day every year. And that is for him. I wrote that song for him. I wrote the poem and then I made it into a song like I did with everything else. So I have a song for my mom and for my dad. So I would like to do the one, release the one for him someday too. So I have both of them, but he's not here to be able to hear it. And my mom is. So my mother cries every time I sing that song for him.
Have you forgiven him?
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not that I didn't like him or I hated him or anything. I mean, it's just that we had a lot of differences growing up as father and daughter. But at the end, it doesn't matter because he prayed constantly when he was sick and he actually had things happen to him that if you don't believe in God, if you believe in God, you believe the things that happened to him at the end. I mean, he was seeing things, he was talking before he took his last breath, like saying things like, God, the light is too bright. I can't see, the light is too bright. And this is before he died. So if you hear somebody saying that's on the deathbed, I mean, what are you thinking? We prayed a lot, and when he took his last breath, he died with a smile on his face. So you know what? Somebody came to get him. And he prayed so much to God every day to help him. He was living in pain. He suffered so much. And I said, nobody deserves to suffer that much. It doesn't matter what you did in this life. Nobody deserves to suffer from that, because that was horrible, the pain he went through. And, we were good. Towards the end, we were good. We got along a lot better. And I have a lot of his tendencies in me, which my mother doesn't like. I remind her all the times I'd say things that he would say, but you know what? I know where he is. He's definitely with God.
So why the wait to release the song? What are you waiting for?
Because I haven't recorded it. I have to go into the studio and record it. I just haven't done it yet. So I have to work on it a little bit, because when I wrote this song, it was a poem. I didn't make a bridge. I don't have a bridge in it. I just have like basically three verses and a chorus, I think. And I have to change it a little bit to make it a better song than it is, because I just do it like online and I perform it at shows.
Yeah, my father passed away. Well, he died May 29th, 2002. So he's been gone over 20 years. And there's a song by Christian recording artist Wayne Watson. He wrote a song called Turning Into Dad about his father.
Mm-hmm.
But I identify with that song because his father died on May 16th. My father died on May 29th. So it's sort of like almost similar. And there's a song I wanted to release, was an Italian song called My Father, but I was going to write it in English, have someone translate it into Italian, and then release it. But yeah, I miss him, and same with my mother, died over 30 years ago. So it's
Wow.
kind of difficult. That's why I say when you have your parent, like, just make sure you spend a lot of time with them, because sometimes I wish I could pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, it's Friday night, I'm coming over. So.
Well, my mother lives with me, so I'm blessed about that.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. I'm so happy to hear about it's so inspiring and so passionate about your music, and your music is just amazing. I mean, stained glass windows are like, there are things in life that make one guess why this world is such excellent poetry right there. It really struck a chord with me. So what's your motivation about your podcast, Rockin' for God? And what can listeners expect from that?
Well, another thing I wanted to do when I was a child was be a journalist. So this is why I said to you, every single thing that I do in my life, I've wanted to do as a child, and not many people get to accomplish that. So when I had the opportunity to start my own podcast, I never thought of doing this. I mean, I just answered these questions too in another interview that I did. It was a Q&A I did. And I was asked the same question. And I said, I'm looking at all these artists out there that are my friends, a lot of them that are with Josie, ISSA, all these places that are in there. They all win awards. They all perform. Some of them tour. And you know what? A lot of these people nobody knows who they are. I mean, they're just like me. You could put 1 million songs out, but if you don't have the audience, or if people, if you don't advertise enough, which everybody that knows me knows I'm probably one of the best persons to do that. So if you don't get yourself out there enough, you don't have to be with management. You don't have to be with a record label. I mean, you just have to know how to get out there, get yourself out there, advertise, do everything on social media. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you know what? I would love to start my own show. And I thought about it as just myself, like just a podcast where I come on and I talk, but I'm saying that's going to be boring. What am I going to talk about? I mean, yeah, I could talk about scripture. I could talk about the Bible. I could play my music, but then nobody's going to listen to that after a while. I mean, updates on the news and stuff like that. So I said, I'm a Christian artist, and I am friends with John Benko, who is with the Four Persons Network. They're a nonprofit network. Wow. And I talked to John and I said, I would like to do my own show. And he said, that would be great. He goes, because you're pretty well known. And I think that would be great on the network. that I think that would draw people to God that way. So I says, I want it to be about music and faith. Everybody has a podcast and everybody does the same thing. I says, I want to be different. I want to be about music and faith only. And that's all we're going to talk about. We're not straying from that. That's all we're talking about. You don't have to be a Christian artist. You could be anybody, but I want you to have some kind of relationship with God in your life. So when I first started out, I had evangelists on, I had pastors on, I had Christian authors on, I had everybody on. I didn't just have singers or whatever. So I started putting myself out there. Actually, October 3rd of this year is going to be a year I've had this podcast already. And I can't believe it's actually a year. It feels like I've had this thing for 10 years already. And I started out on Blog Talk Radio, and that's all I was doing. Then we started getting the streaming sites. Then my show started getting into streaming sites. And then eventually I said, you know, I want to do this, what we're doing. I says, I want to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube. So we wound up getting this platform and we wound up doing YouTube. And I started getting people contacting me to be on my show. So now I'm booked up till January of 25. And
Really?
yeah, I probably interview some of the same people you do. But there's some people, well, that's good though, because that's how people get out there. You know, see, I know a lot of people think the podcast world is like a cutthroat industry where everybody's trying to be better than everybody. But that's not the way I look at it, because I think it's great if somebody's on your show, then they're on my show, then they're on somebody else's show. And that's because that's what we're doing. Our platform is to help them, help me, help us get out there, get the people out there. So that's why I did this, because I want to be a voice for these people who are just like me. And because I do what they do, I understand that. A lot of podcast people don't do this. A lot of them aren't professional singer-songwriter, recording artists. They just do podcasts. So they don't understand what it's like to be in my situation. So also it helps me because it shows my speaking ability and my journalism skills that I have blessed with, that I've always wanted to do. And I love doing it. I have so much fun doing this. So, you know, I have a lot of artists coming up, all different. I have an author coming up actually too in the middle of November. I have a Christian author coming up. So it's been a blessing. I love it, but it takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I love it too. This is like over 200 episodes. I started in October 2021, and everyone knows the story. And I'm finding through other sources that I've had over 80,000 views.
Wow,
almost
good for
1,000
you.
subscribers. So people know I exist.
Good.
So when you connected with me and others, I'm thinking, how did they find? Oh yeah, that's how. Because they have other, like you have Lady Miranda on. I had Lady Miranda on, but I think a month ago.
Yeah.
So I love connecting with the artists. When they connect with me, I'm like, yes, they found me. Sort of like, oh, they found me. Instead of me reaching out, they reach out. So it's great. Like you reached out, and I'm like, And I love your podcast. It's got like the angel wings. I think it's probably half of Jesus. You get to see him with the angel, and you're in 70 videos already. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, I'm just going to keep going. I added another show. See, I can't do them like you do because I have so much else going on in my life. So I would love to do a show every week, but I can't. Maybe next year I could add on another one, but right now I added on another one. So I'm doing 2 a month now. So I'm doing the first Sunday, because you got to remember, I sing in church. I have to be in church. You know, I do so many things. So Sundays are very busy for me. So I do Saturday nights, the first Saturday, and then now I added on the third Thursday, Friday, the third Friday. So I'm doing the first Saturday, the third Friday of every month now, starting August, not this month, starting August. And well, today's the third Friday, right? Isn't it? Yeah, so it wouldn't be today. So it would be in August, I'll be doing that. And then who knows, you know, next year I'll see what happens in January. If it starts getting really busier and I have more people, I'll add on another show here and there. You know, one beautiful thing about running your own show is that you could do whatever you want. You know, you can add on shows, you could cancel shows, you can do to change the platform. You can do whatever you want. And that's what I'm doing. I'm learning how to be a podcaster more and more every day. I'm learning more by watching other people, by, by watching other people, and also by just looking at the stuff that I have and the content and like how I want to be different. So, like I use my music in my promos. So the music I use is mine in my promo. So people hear my music also. So that's how I do it with that. But, I'm really excited about it, about the next one. But I
Yeah.
love, yours is great. And I thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome anytime. I just enjoy it so much. I love talking to people. The thing is, the secret is to take it into real life. So no point sitting there not talking to someone, but you can talk to people and have no problem on your podcast. But when you're talking with someone over coffee, you have to be the same.
Yeah. Yep. I understand exactly what you're saying, because there's people that hide behind a profile picture on Facebook. And, that's why I try not to put all these people that use this AI stuff and they make them look like 20 years younger. And then you meet the person, you're like, who are you?
You don't look like your picture.
That's right. I mean, who are you? You don't have any wrinkles. Your hair's a different color. It's
I
like,
know.
you see it all the time. I'm guilty of that too, because I use, sometimes when you do professional pictures, everybody touches their pictures up. Everybody does. I mean, especially if you got a little spot here or something here, they have those. I'm not talking about complete transformation where you look like somebody different, but it's okay to like use little things to brighten yourself up so you look a little better, brighter. But yeah, it's I just think it's great to do that.
How do you actually, talking about reaching out, you reach out to pastors and musicians, or do they reach out to you?
Well, at the beginning, see, a lot of people think I'm just a music podcast. So a lot of people don't um, approach me that are outside of music. So I started saying that if you are into like, I don't want to cut out people that are pastors or into Christianity some way, serve in the church somehow. Like I had my music director on. I interviewed her from my church and she did a great job. She played the piano. She played like 4 songs on the piano. And everybody loved it. And they really loved that. So I said, I got to start doing more of this. I got to start doing people performing live on the show, which everybody knows StreamYard is not good for musicians. They are not musicians' friends. StreamYard, a lot of times that doesn't come across well when you sing or you play the guitar on this site. So you have to be careful. You got to like do the settings have to be changed and everything. So it depends. But, some people do approach me and I have to actually turn people down now because I'm so backed up that I have to and I don't want to lose them. So I'd rather add on a show if I have to than lose that person and have them say, I really wanted to be in your show, but you don't have time for me. Or so I'm going to have to do that because everybody deserves to be heard. And that's what we're doing. That's what our platforms are, is to give everybody a voice. And that's great that you do that.
Like when you have to engage with fans, how do you do that? Because you might get someone who's literally not who they say they are. They're just stalkers or whatever. How do you weed them out? And you do engage with real people.
What do you mean as far as like friend requests and stuff like that?
Friend requests and getting messages like I do, say hi. I just wanted to say thank you very much, whatever. And I'm like, who are you?
Well, usually when somebody says to me, hi, how are you? And I haven't heard them in 6 years, they haven't contacted me in like 6 years, I know it's fake. I play around with these people because I'll ask them questions like that I think the person would know and they don't know how to answer them. So I know I block them. So, but I've had people ask me to marry them, have their baby. I'm telling you, I've had men from every country you could think of. They think I'm like this real rich recording. They send me these messages and all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I like when people ask you for money all the time. Like, what do you think I'm doing here?
And what about those people asking that they're promoters and they can promote
Yes.
your podcast, give you more
Yeah.
subscribers, and they give you a listing of, don't do that.
And what about when they post stuff on the pages and they say, I'm a producer and I want to play your music. And then you contact them and they say, yeah, here's a list of this is how much you got to pay for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guess what? You know what I tell them? I tell them I'm going to report you for false advertising because you can't do that. You can't go on like a music page and say, send me your music and I'm going to promote you for free. And then you charge them. You can't do that.
No.
That's, and a lot of people charge to do interviews. Some people do that. I think that's ridiculous. You're going to charge somebody to have them on your show to talk to them? I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, yes. Like I would have been part of a really large podcast that's got billions of views and all around the world. And she's well known. And she said, but you have to pay me $250 to appear on it. I said, why? Oh, that's for production costs. Really?
Oh, God.
Wow, I'm really missing out on a lot of money then. Because
we both are.
I'm doing this for no charge at all. Okay, but I'm not going to do it. Even she said, well, if you pay this money, I'll promote you. And I heard that before. And I'll get your name out there. Yeah, I heard that before.
Oh, so have I. I mean, I make my own promo videos with the people. I tell them to send me pictures. I make promo videos. I make two, actually. I put one on this as my starting, and then I do one for them to share with their friends. And I always ask them, please share this podcast and tell people to watch it, because we're not going to get anywhere if nobody watches it. So, I tell everybody to please share it. It's on my YouTube channel, just like with ours, like when I do videos with you or somebody else, when I do it, I share it, or I share it to get it out there so people know who you are. And then they know that's how you wind up getting people, to be on your show also.
I know. I've had many people reach out and say, you had such and such on your show and they mentioned you and I'd be interested in an interview too. And I'm like, wow, I know this person. Oh, wow. And I'm okay with it. Like, I mean, people are going to be commenting on this and saying, listen, you always mention this, the blah, blah, blah. I'd like to have Sting on my podcast.
Wow. Sting, is he still around?
Yeah. 70 years old, but he's still singing. I would love to interview Sting.
That's
and
cool.
Kid as well. And anybody. I don't mind, like, celebrities, musicians. I just love doing it. And I don't want to end up like, that's why I'm afraid, like I said, I'm going to take such and such month off because I've done so many interviews. I'm afraid that people say, this guy hasn't done anything for a month. We're going to unsubscribe to him. So I'm trying to make it so I can do like 4 or 5 a week or whatever, and maybe take 2 days off, which is good.
Yeah, you have to. You have to take time off.
Yeah.
People have said to me, "Watch 3 more shows on." I'm like, I can't do that right now. I have to turn it down. I can't. My physical and mental well-being is more important.
Yeah.
Because if I don't keep myself going, I can't do this. So I have to know when to pace myself and say no. And, and I do. I have been learning how to say no. You know how hard it is to say no in this industry?
Yeah.
People know. So it's, sometimes you have to do that. But
okay. All right. I'll ask you this question. I was going to ask this question, but I know I asked musicians and everyone this question, and some of them come up with great answers. Others are like, it's the same sort of cliche answer. But I want to ask you this question. What do you think of the whole artificial intelligence and music industry?
I don't believe in it. I think that it's taking away from us and from what we can create. I think that is, I don't believe in artificial intelligence at all. I'm sorry. I scares me, and I don't know where it is going in this world with anything, not just music. Look at what it's doing with Facebook. It took over Facebook. Look what it's doing with phones. The new phones that they just came out with have AI in them. So Look at Facebook. These people are obsessed. I think it is becoming an obsession with people because, like we were talking about before, you see people on there and they're beautiful. There's a couple of girls I know that do this. I'm not saying who they are. They're beautiful. And they keep doing these AI things. They keep going into Facebook and there's a picture of you like when you were 25 years old, like you're 50 years old and you were like 25 and you're riding a horse on a beach somewhere and your face is so clear. You can see it's AI generated and they're getting obsessed with this. That's all they're posting. They're changing their profile picture for that. People with music, I haven't tried it and I'm not going to. I'm not going to use AI for my music. They have it for writing now. What are people that stupid? You can't write. You can't write something yourself. You need a computer to do it.
Wait a minute. What about the last Beatles song, Now and Then? They used AI to extract John Lennon's vocals from the piano, and now they have this beautiful song called Now and Then, which they used AI. So AI can be used for good, but then it can be used for bad. Yeah, it's getting to the point where Joe Blow, the baker's going to release a song that he had AI generated and make billions of streams because people like it. Hey, I love your donut song. I love it. Who's the girl?
Yeah, but isn't that scary that they can use your voice?
It is, because all you have to do is the phone will ring, you pick it up, and then they have a copy of your voice.
Yeah.
Hello, hi, John read his what? Oh,
Yeah, hi, I want to buy a car for $50,000 and my name is whatever. And then, and then they got all your information. I don't think so. I don't believe. I know that this country was going there eventually. We knew that this technology was going to get there one day. I didn't think I would ever see it in my lifetime. I guess I was wrong. But I mean, to each his own. If somebody wants to use it for their music, that's fine. If they think that that's going to help them or whatever, I choose not to. I don't want anything to do with AI at all in my life. None at all. So
if someone said to you, okay, Lisa, well, here's a recording contract for you. It's worth $2 million. Everything's great. It'll set your family to life, and you'll be happy. Do what you want. Oh yeah, you have to do an album where you're duetting with David Bowie. All these dead artists.
David Bowie is dead. All right, yeah.
David Bowie, all these dead artists. You have to John Lennon. You have to do collaborate with John Lennon. What would you say?
First of all, that's creepy as hell.
Thought I'd ask.
That's creepy because I don't know if I could even do that, knowing that that person's voice is not them, that it's computer generated. And to be honest with you, I would probably turn it down. I don't think I would be able to do that. It would scare me to have to be singing with a dead person. Just Elvis. I heard that they want to do Elvis's music now. They're bringing Elvis's music back or something. I heard.
Yeah, but apparently Elvis has a ton of music that he didn't release. So maybe they're going to use AI to kind of, fix the vocals.
Wow. I really would like to have some really famous Christian artists on my show that I've been trying to get in touch with. So if you know any of them, send them my way and I'll talk to you.
Like who?
Well, I love Jeremy Camp, Christian artist. I love Chris Tomlin, Toby Mac.
Wow.
Those are a lot of my influences when I started getting into Christian music. Those are really a lot of my influences. Yeah, I like female people too, female Christian artists like Amy Grant. And
Amy Grant, wow.
I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of these people, a lot older than me. So a lot of them I grew up listening to. And I would love to have one of them come on my show. And so I could talk to them face to face as another Christian artist. And, so I've been trying to get that. That's that would be like the highlight of my show if I could get that someday.
Wow. Well, I pray you will. You definitely will.
Me too.
Why not? What legacy do you hope to leave through your music?
Huh. Wow, nobody's ever asked me that before. What legacy? I really gotta think about that. I guess I guess that to never give up on life, and that to know that I always kept going even when I couldn't, and that to know that God is number one in my life, and that I lived my life for him, and that I live my life for people to see that he is inside of me, that he lives within me. And that's what I want people to know when I'm no longer here in this world. I would like people to say that at my funeral, that they were impressed by the life that I lived just because I lived for God, and he lived within me, and he showed himself within me. And that's what I want people to remember me by.
Wow, that's excellent. Wow. Okay, I'll ask you the closer question then. Uh, can you
Okay.
give like any upcoming advice to those that are just wanting to start up with music and singer-songwriters and the future Christian artists out there? What do you want to tell them ahead of time?
Well, what I always tell people when they're first starting out is that be yourself. Everybody, like I said before, everybody is different. Do not try to be like somebody else. God blessed us all with different personalities. We all are blessed with different talents. So if you're different, then just go with that. Don't try to be like somebody else, because especially if the other person you're trying to be like isn't succeeding. So that's not going to get you anywhere. Just try. Also, take criticism from people, but do not take insults. Do not let anybody put you down and tell you you're worth nothing and you shouldn't be singing or doing anything, especially coming from another singer songwriter. Don't ever have anybody. I have several people that have told friends of mine, not me, friends of mine, people have told them that they're terrible, they can't sing. And I know they can. But that's why I said before, you never know who that is coming from and why they are saying that. Sometimes people say things just to hurt people. So take that into consideration of where it's coming from, and do not let anybody stop you from living your dream.
Love that. Okay, everyone, you heard that, and all Lisa Marie Nicole's music will be linked down below in the description, and everything about her, how to contact her. Thank you so much, Lisa Nicole, for sharing your inspiring journey and the heart behind your music with us today. Your dedication to spreading messages of faith, hope, and love through your songs is truly remarkable. We look forward to hearing more of your beautiful music and witnessing the continued impact of your work. Wishing you all the best in your future endeavors, and may your music continue to touch and uplift souls around the world. Thank you, Lisa. We're going to end the stream, everyone. Lisa, can you just wait there for one moment?
Thank
You,
you.
everyone. Goodbye, Lisa.
Hi.
Things in this life that make one guess why this world is such a mess. Definition of love is a mirror of hate. When I look in your eyes, I think all is great. I'm staring into the stainless window of your soul. You're looking in, I'm looking out of the stainless window of my soul. I'm reaching out, the world's reaching in, but the light of the Lord is blocking all the sin, and His love will always win. God lives in my heart each and every day. His love is so strong, it blocks all the pain. When you look in my eyes, feel the warmth, not the cold. You're staring into the stainless window of my soul. stained glass window of my soul. I'm reaching out, the world's reaching in, but the light of the Lord is blocking all the sin, and His love will always win. Our bodies are a temple paid for with a price. Jesus died on the cross so we could have eternal life. Our eyes are a window into the soul, where depression and anger have taken its toll. Let the Lord be the cleaner to wipe away the stain. Let's start over without any pain. You're looking in, I'm looking out of the stained glass window of my soul. I'm reaching out, the world's reaching in, but the light of the Lord is blocking all the sin.